Yeah, so that's so because it's so difficult to define, what I'll be doing here is I'll be kind of comparing and contrasting or putting things next to each other and asking you to kind of help me make sense of it. So in Fear, yes, another one of your papers, you use that very different approach. So you describe it as a quote, a human concern. Arguably, fear is the most important universal topic in understanding human created destructivity on this planet and that which undermines love. So let's be there for a moment. So this juxtaposition between fear and love. So what were you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking a lot of things that why are these universal wisdom literatures, if you want to call them, again, you find it in Christianity, you find it in Buddhism, etc. You find it in the Hindu traditions as well. This juxtaposition of fear and love, and really at that level, we're now talking about metaphysical reality, a metaphysical phenomenon. We're not talking just about a psychological phenomenon. I can only say that has a big question mark. What does that mean, a metaphysics of love and fear? But a metaphysics of love and fear is different than a psychology of love and fear. So if I was to give the definition of how when love is present, and the metaphysical traditions say this too in their opposition, they say when love is present, fear is absent. When fear is present, that starts to undermine love. In other words, they're incompatible phenomenon and or their metaphysical principles of organization. So that you can see one level I'm talking about just feelings and ways of behaving as a human being. I'm either love-based in my behaviors, which are all the good traits, right? Those are the virtues. And then the vices, right? The opposite is they're fear-based. So it's an argument you can make. Not all virtues, moral philosophies do that, but there is lots of evidence that you could interpret it that way. But at the metaphysical level, you can't, it's not so easy, rigged, or connected to behaviors, right? The observable behaviors. And that's where I say you have to look at fear and love as deep motivational templates. In other words, that's why I'm interested in motivational design and templates and how we become aware of those deep motivators that are influencing us. And I use the word to try to play with a way of getting a handle on that is what is love patterning? What is fear patterning? And so fear patterning, I sort of place as a kind of virus. It goes into the love cell and begins to replace the DNA, just like a biological virus does. So I'm using the analogy. I think it's an interesting one to play with as an investigator. How does the fear virus, interpolate into a love-based system? In other words, a mother's love for the child, right? We can see is unconditional, is naturally to be that way, most cases, unless there's some kind of pathology or damages. But in general, and then you go, well, then why does a mother at some point, or could be a father, a caretaker of a child, start to turn that love into fear, more fear-based actions, behaviors, value systems, and imposes that, so I'll just call it ultra security and control upon a child's free will. And that becomes this really interesting interplay, right? Where we see a certain kind of shift of the love energy in a family system moving to a more fear-based system of control. And that's not always healthy control. I'm not saying some of it might be healthy to control. I'm not saying children should be absolutely free to do whatever they want. So I think maybe that's useful to you.